Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video. Today we are going to be ranking some more costumes. Now I've decided to not do Marge, and instead I'm going to do Maggie. Now the reason why I'm not going to do Marge is because Marge has got another costume coming, and it's not quite out yet, so I can't really judge it just based on. I don't really want to judge it based on looking at the kind of costume just from the wiki. I want to actually experience the costume myself, look at the tasks, look at the animation, read the questline. And then I will judge the Marge thing. I think I will. I was thinking of waiting to the next update, but I don't know. I'll probably do it as soon as that costume hits. I think it's Act 4 actually. But as soon as that costume hits and I've experienced it, I will do my Marge costumes ranked. So I decided instead we'll go with the other Simpsons kind of main Simpsons family member that we haven't done yet, and that is of course Maggie. Now this Maggie video will be quite quick because she's only got 5 costumes, which is my minimum for these ranked lists, so it won't take long to kind of look at Maggie. And Maggie's a bit of a weird one because I actually like at least 4 out of 5 of her costumes. I like 4 out of 5. I would say that 4 out of 5 costumes are good. There's only one costume I dislike, and the only reason I really dislike it is due to the price. So without further ado, we'll get into the video. So let's start it off with number 5, aka the worst Maggie costume. Butterfly Maggie is of course that costume. So yeah, I hate this costume a lot, and the reason why I hate it a lot is, of course, you could only get it with the truckload of 300 donuts, which is a lot of donuts and also a lot of money. So to get this costume, you had to pay real money to get it. You couldn't grind donuts to get it. You couldn't, actually earn donuts over a period of time to get it, and you couldn't even just pay for a few donuts, like 60 donuts, because let's be honest, a costume should only be worth 60 donuts at most. You couldn't even do that because it's 300. It's a truckload of donuts, which is 300, which is ridiculous price. So I just think that the main reason why this costume is the worst is due to the price. Now the actual costume itself, I do think it looks a bit weird, but I kind of like it. I kind of like the look of it. It's unique enough and kind of funky. She's got 2 animated tasks: Reach Max, I Have Power Status, and Energize and Fly. Both are okay animations. I don't think they're terrible, but they're nothing so amazing. But purely just because of that price, I'm putting it here. Now, if they were ever to re-release this in like a mystery box or something like that, then I may consider putting it a little bit higher, possibly. Now they did this with Svengali. Svengali was of course originally added as a kind of in-store thing, so you had to obviously purchase him through buying donuts. But eventually they added him to a mystery box in one of the updates, which I was actually quite surprised they did that. So if they were to do that with her eventually, then it may increase her thing on this list. For example, if a worse costume was to come, then maybe I would place it a bit higher. But I think the price should always be taken into consideration, and for that reason, Butterfly Maggie is the worst costume. Anyway, going on to the 4th best, or the 2nd worst, if you will. Outlands Maggie. I like this costume, I'm not going to lie. I think it's a cool costume. Now, I've honestly found these next kind of 3 the most difficult to rank, because I think they all have good qualities. Now, this one, I think it looks cool as hell. I think Maggie looks badass as hell in this little picture, in the actual artwork. Now, this was free in the Bart Royale. It was an Act 2 prize, which is pretty cool. Then it was re-added for 20 donuts, so I think overall, pretty reasonable. It's got 2 animated tasks: protect her territory, which is kind of cool, and improve Outland social skills, which is, it's okay. Yeah, I think it's cool as hell. I honestly just think it comes down to the other costumes being a little bit better. It's not as iconic as, obviously it's not really, well, you can't really say it's iconic at all. It is from a very brief moment in an episode. So yeah, I don't know, Outlands Maggie, it's going here. I like the costume, don't get me wrong, but I just think the other costumes are a little bit better in my opinion. Bouncing Battle Baby. Okay, now this is a costume which is not in the show at all. It's actually in the comics, so it's kind of interesting actually. So they actually took this from the comic books, not from the actual show. So technically this is a non-canon costume, but in the same strength, it's still come from a piece of Simpsons media. it still is, like I said, it's not like something that they completely created for the game. It's come from another piece of Simpsons media. It just hasn't come from the show. Now, they've done this in the past when they added, for example, they added Mr. Dirt from the Simpsons game, who was obviously the Millhouse boss in the Simpsons game. Now, that is from the Simpsons game. That is not in the show whatsoever, and they added it into the game. So it's kind of cool that there's a few things that they do this with, and Bouncing Battle Baby is one of them. Now, I thought about this at first, and at first I thought, that might be a reason why I might rank it lower. But then, honestly, is it? Like, I don't know. I think that if it's come from, at least if it's come from some kind of Simpsons media, then I'm kind of accepting of it. I think it's fine. Now, this is a superhero costume, and you guys know that I'm a little biased when it comes to superhero costumes. I tend to rank them a little bit higher than they probably deserve. Now, I don't know, I just like this. I think the butt slam thing is a really funny little animation, and the bounce around, although they're quite similar, I don't know, I quite like those animations. I think the costume looks cool as hell. I wasn't expecting them to add a superhero costume for Maggie either, which I was very pleasantly surprised with. I like this costume. I think it's a cool costume for Maggie, and although, yeah, it comes from a comic book, I think it's okay. So that's my placement for Bouncing Battle Baby, but I just want you guys to know, I've said it before, but the decision between this Outlands Maggie and the one that's going to come was really difficult. It honestly, tomorrow I might have a completely different opinion and re-rank them. Honestly, it's very tight between these costumes. But anyway, moving on to the, I guess, third best, third worst is Prairie Maggie. I meant fourth worst, second best. I don't know why I messed up the numbers there. Anyway, Prairie Maggie. So Prairie Maggie is, of course, the Wild West costume. Now, she was 65 donuts when she was originally released, which I think, maybe 5 donuts overpriced, but nothing too bad. And then she was re-released for 20 donuts, which I think is great. Honestly, 5 donuts, I'm not going to complain too much. It's I think it's 5 donuts overpriced. It's no biggie. It's not like a ridiculous price. Obviously, she has 2 tasks: fly free, which I think is cool, and befriend wild animals, which is another cool task. Honestly, I just think this look is the better looking costume. That's what it comes down to. I think she looks cool as hell in her little outfit. Yeah, I think it's a really nice costume. I like a lot of the Wild West costumes, although they come from kind of obscure kind of scenes in The Simpsons. They don't come from particularly iconic scenes in any way. I like a lot of the Wild West costumes, and I think Prairie Maggie is another great example. This is also her first costume, so it's kind of, I guess, memorable for that reason. And yeah, I remember this costume a lot. I think it's cool as hell. I think she looks pretty badass in the icon picture, and I think their animations are pretty good too. Also, the questline's not too bad either. So I think, yeah, overall, this costume is pretty great. But I'm just going to do it again. I found ranking these latest 3 costumes really hard, so I understand if you guys maybe have a different opinion. Anyway, moving on to my favourite costume. Can we have that drum roll? That's your drum roll. It goes to Star Snowsuit Maggie. That's a bit of a tongue twister. I might get some shit for this. I don't know. Some guys might disagree. Some people may disagree. But the reason why I think this is the best costume is it's iconic. And I know I overuse that word so much. But I think there is a good case for this, or at least it's classic in some regards, you could argue, but I don't know, I would argue it's iconic, because it's not like we've seen Maggie in this costume once. We've seen Maggie in this costume pretty much every Christmas episode, I want to say. I don't know, there's probably a Christmas episode out there where she doesn't wear it, but most Christmas episodes, we see Maggie wearing this. I was watching an episode recently, like season 20 something, and she's wearing this, and of course, she's in this outfit in the very, very first episode, so it's definitely classic. And I would argue it's iconic too. Now, it was originally free in the Winter 2016 event. Honestly, it was one of the best things in that event, for sure. I think she looks cute. She looks adorable as hell in her little starsuit outfit. And I think both the tasks are cool too. I'd say one of them's cool. I think the Be a Christmas Tree Star is funny as hell. I think that is a Tap Tap original, but I don't know, I think it's a funny enough animation. And then it's Sacrifice a Sheep, which I'm not as I'm not a massive fan of, but I mean it's still okay, I guess. It's not a terrible animation. Yeah, I think she just looks cool as hell in this costume. I think it's iconic. It was originally free, which is great, and it's got it's got one really good animation and one kind of meh. But I mean that's okay. Of course, it was re-released even in the Rogelian Christmas promo and the Invasion Before Christmas for 50 donuts. And then it was released in the Simpsons Christmas special and Abe's in Toyland. It was re-released for 60 donuts. So, yeah, I would say both those prices were reasonable. So I think that, it's not going to get knocked down for kind of donut pricing. I think both those prices are reasonable. And of course, when it was originally released, it was free, which is great. So yeah, that is my opinion for what I think of the best Maggie costume is. That is all the Maggie's costumes ranked. You guys tell me your thoughts. How would you rank them differently, maybe? I don't know. I think that... I feel like most people would agree this is the best one. But if you do disagree that this is the best one, please do tell me why. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.